Hello there, this is page 5 of the DMAAR purchase agreement. So we're going to review the items on this page. It talks about joint tenancy. So upon full payment of the purchase price, the sellers will deliver to the buyers a general warranty deed to this property. If the buyer is married, their interest shall be held in joint tenancy unless otherwise indicated. And just a reminder that we do prepare the warranty deed in-house and provide that to the sellers to sign at closing. If the property is an asset of an estate, trust, or conservatorship, this agreement is contingent upon court approval unless declared unnecessary by the buyer's attorney. If necessary, the appropriate fiduciary shall promptly obtain court approval and conveyance shall be made by the court officer deed. So this is just an example that if any of these situations were to arise, please be considerate that there may take more time than a traditional approval would need, okay? So you might just need a little bit more time to close the transaction out anytime the government or any courts are involved. Line 223 on page 5, it talks about funds. So at the time of closing, funds of the purchase price received from the buyer and or the buyer's lender may be applied towards the purchase price to pay taxes and liens and are to be handled under supervision of the brokers and subject to approval of the buyer's attorney. Calculating time periods in this agreement. So this used to be at the beginning of the purchase agreement. Now they've moved it to the end, but in reference to days, they will be business days unless otherwise noted. So a business day is defined as any day other than weekends or legal or federal holidays. A day begins at 12 o'clock a.m. and ends at 11:59 p.m. And in calculating days, the act of the event is not included. And the last day is included unless it's a state or federal holiday, in which case it will be the next business day. So as a note, if today is the day that the document gets executed, right, fully executed, then tomorrow becomes day 1. So it's important that you learn and kind of pre-plan when your 10 days for inspection or whatever days that you agreed to in the offer are all based on correctly, right? So that you don't hurt, your side of it, so the buyer or the seller's side, if you're not following those properly. Notice, any notice required under this agreement shall be deemed given when it is received in writing, either by hand, fax, return receipt, requested mail, or electronic mail. Persons designated to receive any notice for the purposes of this agreement shall be the seller and the buyer or their respective agents. Guys, that's why it's great to use dot loop because it tracks activity when things were sent and when people opened them. The next section talks about document preparation. So parties request the listing or selling brokerage or any employees, agents, associates select, prepare, and complete form documents as authorized by the Iowa law or by the Iowa Supreme Court, such as purchase agreements, groundwater statements, and declaration of value incidents to a residential real estate transaction. Marketing on the property. So unless otherwise specified in writing, the sellers acknowledge and agree that the property will not be marketed while this agreement is in effect. We have remedies of the parties. So guys, if the sellers fail to fulfill the agreement, the buyers have right to take legal action from them. And if the buyers fail to fulfill the agreement, the sellers can take legal action against them as well. Any court costs or fees associated with this will be paid by the respective parties. We talk about dispute resolution. This is the part where I just say, you know what, guys, do you agree to go to mediation prior to litigation? Do you agree to try to work it out before that? And if so, both parties initial there. Pertaining to this agreement, time shall be of the essence. This agreement will be binding and inure the benefit and the heirs, executors, administrators, assigns, and successors in interest of the respective parties. It will also, this agreement, its representations, warranties, and covenants shall survive the closing and the delivery and recording of all documents necessary to transfer title or interest to the new buyers. There is an admin fee. So the buyer admin fee on our properties will be collected at closing and as agreed to in writing. And just be mindful that those fees are listed in the buyer brokerage agreement and in the listing contract as well. So whatever those respective fees are, this isn't the first time that they are aware of that. This concludes page 5 of the DMAAR purchase agreement, and initials are required at the bottom as well as near the dispute resolution.